of these. I'm going to go through each one. The first two, though, I have the little brackets there. Loving responsibility is formed in the first two. Arousal goes by mutual self-fullness, and I'll explain that. And then vulnerability and trust gives you that loving intimacy. And you actually need all five. This is how you're clicking on all cylinders. You need all five of these. Everybody write down these? I'm going to go through each one, actually. Your volition. Does anybody know what that is? Volition deals with your free choice. Having that free choice. First, you and your spouse recognize self and others being involved together out of free choice. This freedom of choice was perceived by one for the other as well as for self. Indeed, the fact of each choosing freely helped invite a sense of special choice. Meaning that if you are doing this and you don't want to, anytime you do it and you don't want to, you're going to lose the intimacy part of it. Now again, we talk about obligation. This is how I'm separating the two. If you are in sync and intimate, and you are for one another, there might be a time where you can kind of tell when the other wants to. Can't you tell that? Even though women try to pretend like they can kind of tell. So the idea is how you negotiate. You have a decision to make at that point. Because the free will choice that you make can be, well, although I don't feel like it, he does, I want him to be satisfied here, and I'm going to get something out of it too. Because I love that guy. Same thing the other way. If she wants to and she's doing all this, there was what movie was that I was watching? This part is so funny to me. It was The Nutty Professor, The Clumps. This is the second one. And you remember when, I guess he had a little problem, the dad character, and he had gotten fired or whatever. They were saying retired, but he kind of got fired from his job. And so his wife, there's a scene, you know, Eddie Murphy is playing both of these characters. She's dressed nice and she's smelling good, and she put this little hanky, red hanky over the shade of the light to make it intimate and all that. And she's trying to get him to look at her. He won't turn and look at her. And I mean, she sets up all of this stuff, and then he just kills it all. You know, by saying, why do I got to look at you? I know what you look like. I've been looking at you for all this long, and every time you want to do it, you just, you know, he said some words. But then he just kind of killed her moment. Totally destroyed her moment. And it gets like that, where at that moment, he could have chose that this was about her, and I'm going to get something out of it too. It's a mindset change. And it's a connection that you have in the scope of your relationship with each other that makes you one. That you decide to want what the other wants and feel what the other feels on everything. If you can master that in the bedroom, that'll fit for all parts of your life. You'll come home stressed from work, and you'll be too. And you'll both want to decide what to do about it. Hard decisions, you'll both want to do it. It puts you on the same accord on every other plane. It actually starts in the bedroom with that intimacy. But it's to be able to desire that, and you have the decision of free will. If you are doing it because you feel it is a marital obligation, you violated the first word. Follow me? It has to be free choice, and you have to decide, I'm doing it not out of obligation, I'm doing it because I want to. I want to experience that with him. Follow me? Okay. The second one, the mutuality. You and your spouse were both involved mutually in sex, i.e. you were both on the same side of the fence at the same time. Again, knowing of both being on the same side of the fence fed rather than starved your desire to be with each other. This was mutual. We're in sync, in other words. And it was mutual. Have you ever been able to just look at each other and you're not saying anything? You gotta know that's what this is. Some of you are smiling, got that others this or what are you talking about? Can you look at each other and know exactly? And not necessarily even with sex, but in other stuff. I feel like when a kid is doing something, you just like looking like, let's get it. But you just kind of know, nothing has to be said. You don't have to even speak a word, but you just know each other that well. It's the mutuality of that. And that only comes by first and foremost being comfortable with who you are. If you're still struggling to find out who you are, it's hard to go from being an individual to one just like that. Because there are insecurities in doing it and you won't be able to do it. Does everybody know what I mean by struggling with who you are? A lot of people kind of grow up too fast and they haven't really discovered who they were. You might have got married straight out of your mom and dad's house, or you kind of never lived on your own, or there's something that makes you have to rely on the other person, whether it's financial or whatever the case is. You feel stuck. When you feel that stuck mode, you can't do this. You have to be an individual to have a mutual thing. You have to be kind of equal that way. That doesn't mean you have to make the same amount of money as him, but if you're in a marriage and you feel that you're stuck there, like what would I do if something happened to him? That stuck feeling I'm talking about. That you don't know that you can make it on your own, that you haven't had a chance to be self yet. You never achieve this. So you have to be comfortable and confident in who you are before you really can do anything else. They actually tell you actually shouldn't get married until you do that. Until you know who you are. You've kind of been on your own. You've kind of done stuff and developed you before you can give yourself to somebody else fully. How can you know, or how can you give something you don't know? Follow me? So to be able to do that, you have to have that. So the first two. The first is that it has to be free choice, and the second is it has to be this mutual feeling between the two. And that is how we get what I called before that loving responsibility. Thirdly, your arousal. Both partners experience what's in the domain of arousal, the type of arousal that neither you nor your spouse need worry about the others. Each seems fully experiencing their own arousal. In fact, your partner's arousal probably fed yours and vice versa. In other words, this is the desire to have each other. The desire to have each other. Now, what do you think affects the desire to want to be with somebody? No one says it.
Your attraction to them by their person and your person.
Yeah, that's what that says. Get more specific. What was the question?
The looks, the touch.
Well, that's part of it. That's physical. But let's get down to some. Oh, you might. Okay, go first in here.
How they respond to you actually increases or decreases your desire to want to be with them.
Right, dude. That's what it says up there.
I know.
Going some specifics.
It's like it has more to do, your desire within you, for me, has more to do with her than it doesn't. That's still what that's saying, but.
It is. I got you. Yes, I'm there. Now, what I want is the specifics of what would make that different. What could change that you feel that way? Go ahead, Jim.
For instance, oftentimes, let's say she's just with the kids, and I'm observing her with the kids, and she hasn't done anything out of the ordinary except, did something great as a mother. That may arouse me. It's not physical. It's not touching. It's not an event which I looked at her and lusted, but it was an event which I loved.
I know exactly. That is exactly what I want, except that's the other way. I want to see the negative part. Does everybody get what he's saying? For her, he's admiring a part of her that's just her. She's that way. So her ability to nurture and mother his kids turns him on, is what he just said. He likes that. She's not doing anything. She's not trying to turn him on, but just the way she is like that, that's just dead sexy in this old boy. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Now I'm looking for the negative side of that. What would stop that from happening?
Facial hair.
Yep, that was... Wow, yeah. Yeah, that kind of, that would...
Your situation, your fire, your effects of what you had throughout your day, just refusal to see things.
Yeah, that puts it on the individual. That puts it on us. I want to know the other side. Like, let me give you one easy one. You know what I'm talking about. You could come home and your wife have a super nasty attitude. Just her day was bad. and you didn't say anything. You walked into like World War III. Something her and the kids are just battling, and she just says you say something nice or joking, and she bites your head off. Does that ever happen? That probably never happened to you guys. That doesn't happen. All right. So that totally takes like arousal and boom. You might as well go out now to the diner. It's all over. Those are the things that I'm talking about. There are some times that people can have such an attitude or even a negative attitude about something. Not even sexual, just a negative attitude, a negative disposition about things. Some